junkies to
It is time.
Cover Decoder.
Yeah.
The show where we put bling on our sausage fingers.
Yeah.
We don our slightly cut off 3 times too big denim pants and the jersey for whatever sports team we love the most. We kneel next to a big shiny chrome wheel, most likely on some sort of Chrysler car, and we gangster rap.
I borrowed it from my mama.
Covers.
That's right.
Now,
The boys,
my friends,
the cover boys.
What would our rap album be called if we were to do a Cover Decoder?
It would be called.
Rap album?
It would be called Cover Boys Under the Covers.
Or My Lover
Under
is
the
a cover.
Covers. Yeah.
Our R&B album would be My Lover is a cover. And we'd have our shirts
Lover
off.
is a cover, and I wanna get down on you.
Oh,
Get down
yeah.
on you. I wanna decode your sweet body.
So bad.
That's not really
I
gangster
feel like
rap.
I would bring.
It's
I
our
feel like
R&B.
I would bring in the new metal influences. It'd actually be a new metal band.
Gross.
New metal.
Similar to
Why?
Limp Bizkit.
Why do we have to go there?
Limp
With new
Limp
metal.
covers.
Ugh.
Hey, I
know
don't
if
watch
like
much
it.
television, you guys. What's a new metal?
Yeah,
Is
what
that
is
where you
that?
like,
What is it? What is it?
you shine it up?
It's where you flap the.
See,
bass
I
string,
heard
dude.
a rumor. I heard a rumor out of Mordor that new metal was making a comeback. But like I said,
That's what started the War of the Ring.
Sauron was like, new metal.
No. Wow, did we just turn Sauron into a good guy? Fuck.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, Brengineer, what are we doing here? What is
Yeah,
happening today?
besides making hip-hop albums, R&B albums, and new metal albums.
well, tonight is a momentous occasion because it is the end of season 1.
No, that's impossible.
It's impossible.
So here we are on
I can't believe it.
episode 17.
That's right.
Episode 17. Not quite a full 24 because we started a little bit late in the year, but
Yeah. Don't judge.
The season ends here tonight. Now.
Yeah.
That's
Our
right.
our season is old enough to drive. Not quite old enough to die for its country yet. But
And it can drink if it finds an old man on a bus willing
That's
to take
right.
a
If
$5
you go to the-
bill.
if you go to the right 7-Eleven.
Oh, well, great. Brengineer, I believe you had something special in store for our
yeah.
listeners.
Yeah.
I do indeed have something special in store. Now,
Special.
Thinking about
Special.
Thinking about this season, I got a little nostalgic. And I was thinking back, and we've all been thinking back on the season.
That's right.
And talking about the good old cover to cover
There's some juicy moments.
the happy
Gems.
times, the funny times, the difficult times.
Right.
When
Yeah.
difficult subjects cropped up.
The sweaty times.
The sweaty times.
So much.
Many sweaty times. The shirtless times.
Oh.
They're almost always shirtless for me.
Yeah, I am shocked to see
I
you.
know.
And the times when we
Covered
when we
up.
spoke way too long and laughed way too hard
Never.
about tangs. Tangs, man.
Tangs. Well, you know what? That's not talking.
We danced.
Let's-
If you guys
let's
follow us on
play-
the interwebs.
We did. That's true. We bore our legs
Yeah,
to you guys.
if you follow
I
us
hope
at
you loved it.
Instagram or on Instagram at Cover Decoder, you got to see us. You got to see us move a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting pulled down in season two.
Hell
two,
no,
so just-
no. That
just
is a
prepare.
monument to our
Pull down.
juiciness.
I'm pulling down them
No
pants. No one's gonna
Nope.
see it. So here we go. Let's.
So here we go.
We're gonna play a
I'm just
special
gonna
clip
press
for you,
play on
folks.
this. Here we
Play it.
go. Here we go.
Enjoy.
No. Here's the thing. They can't go back. You already made a semen.
okay, so
Whoa!
Yeah, he was 88 when he died. He didn't quite make it to his 111th birthday, but he did.
I think the roadies got the pube hair. They got the gooch hair.
Dude,
Thanks.
hey, he's Norwegian. He doesn't have any
Do you know what it's like trying to peel the pants off a corpse? Just so you can snip off the pube hair?
This is the ultimate 4th of July experience. You strap the body onto a firework and you launch into the freaking atmosphere.
There's nothing like bone fragments in your apple pie.
What I see is two rednecks in the swamps of Louisiana. They're trying to catch gator, and all of a sudden something crawls up out of the grave, and it's old Nestor Huggins. And he's like, hey, listen here, boys. I just want you to know my chin, but apparently the bullet didn't go in.
You know his chin is a perfect dugout. If men could crawl into that chin.
Dude, that is a beautiful.
The cummy yellow binding.
The cummy yellow binding.
That's a word we're gonna use. If it's cummy, if you touch it, you're probably gonna need to wash it.
Obviously, you can tell by his brushstrokes that he is in league with Satan.
Oh, really? He's so good at faces. Hey, let's look at the thing poster real quick. Let's look at the face. That's what I want. Where is the face? There's nothing on the face.
One of our slogans here at Cover Decoder is judge a book by its cover, because covers are important. But we bring these things up because it is important to have a good cover.
At first, it was there. It was just there, and it was in front of me. So I picked it up and I started using it.
Art can be used for good. It can be used for evil.
It just brings me back.
Some
It brings me back. Crawling through the bushes for my life.
won't
From
die.
a horde of sweaty individuals seeking to take my blood. In the cover world, that is. Yeah,
Okay.
folks, there have been
There
so
it
many
is, yeah.
moments. So
That was our Chariots of Fire for you.
it
Yeah,
was.
Us three boys, slow motion running
that's right.
through the last several months of this cover decoding journey.
That's right,
Now,
figuring it
fellas,
out.
figuring it out? What have been your favorite moments?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I think for me, what was kind of cool was episode. Oh shit! Was it episode? What was our Dune episode? Episode 5.
Episode 5.
Episode
Classic?
5 was a classic Three Flappers. Yeah, it was in there. But that was a big one for me because that was an episode where we kind of ended up talking afterwards and reformatting our show.
Yeah.
Before that, we'd been kind of, if you listen to our first episodes,
Winging it.
Yeah, they weren't great. I have a lot of fun with them. I'm not, disappointed with them, but we didn't know what we were going to do. In fact, I'm really thankful. One of our friends, a mutual friend of mine and Brengineers, came up to us and he said, "Hey, I listened to your guys' podcast. That first episode is pretty rough." And I was like,
fuck
cool.
you, bro.
I was like,
Fuck
cool,
you, bro.
thanks, dude. I appreciate that. But I was like, keep listening. They'll get better. And sure as
Yeah.
shit, he kept listening. And he gave us some feedback later and said, man, you guys have really improved. So for
Yeah.
me, that episode was kind of an episode where we stopped and we kind of reformatted and kind of talked about how we wanted the show to go. So for me, that was a really
Yeah.
cool episode. Plus, that was just such an awesome information-dense episode. I love that one. That one was
Yeah.
big for me.
Full course meal.
What about you, Inky Poo?
Okay, so right before the Dune episode, right before we grew up, right before we pulled our pants up and put the belt in the loops, we had done our first What's in the Box, and so it's still pretty loose. It's still pretty wild, but that's what What's in the Box was always meant to be, for us to get it out of our system. And when you pulled when you pulled that Marty Robbins album out of the box, I'm telling you, folks, you got to go listen to that episode. That moment starts at like the 12-minute mark, and it is still one of my favorite episodes. I love doing a good What's in the Box, but Marty Robbins with his cocaine
in the back.
Yeah, that's right. Some memories won't die. Yeah.
Thanksgiving feast. Oh.
Yes, it was such a. That is what set off the What's in the Box lore, and it was a proper genesis to that whole moment and movement in those episodes. So you can thank Marty Robbins
That's
setting
right.
the
Good
tone.
old Marty
The
Robbins.
dust of Marty Robbins, which we still carry with us in a
That's
little
right.
vial.
Drifting around. That's right. Now, for me, I have a longtime friend, back from kindergarten, and he called me out of the blue one day, which we don't talk too often, once in a while. He hardly ever calls. It's usually a text like, hey, we'll just hang out or do whatever. This time he actually called me specifically to tell me he was driving on his way to Mount Hood to his cabin and almost had to pull over because he was listening to the Kurt Douglas Douglas episode. It's
not the first
and
time
he
I've
said
heard
he was
that.
he said he was laughing so hard he almost had to pull his truck over because he couldn't drive properly.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew, like, okay, we're on to something here.
Yeah.
And that was always the point. The point was always to, be informational and informative, but to have a lot of humor in there. And I feel like in that episode in particular, with the adventures in Kirk Douglas's chin.
Oh yeah. Kurt Dougie tonight.
The invention of wet wipes. Specifically, so he can wipe out his dimple, dude. All those
his
moments,
sweet divot.
So disrespectful, but so hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
and we've really hoped you folks have enjoyed that and been along with the ride. It's, it's been such it's doing things like this are such a weird progression, which kind of brings me to the next thing is for you guys. When I know for me and Inks in particular.
Yeah,
because Inks is the one that started this show, folks. He was the one who was the catalyst of this idea.
We started this show. The idea came from looking at the Nazareth cover and was like, what the fuck is this dog dragon doing on this cover that is basically like dirty boy rock? And honestly, to be honest, like we didn't really solve that mystery, but that's where the idea came from. But really, the show happened organically. Like we all had our own ideas of what it was going to be, and it became something completely else. Just like that Nazareth cover,
which brings me to the question for you guys: what were your expectations of the show when we started, and what for you has it turned into?
The highlight of my week.
I know that's a big one for you, Inks, because we've talked about this before, and I know that the show is not what you thought it was going to be.
Well, I wanted sort of I had in my mind this sort of like audio doco because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to so much podcasts. Most of my entertainment goes through my ears, and that's what I had in mind. But it then turned into a round table where it's like the highlight of my week. Where I can't wait to like hang out with my mates with these kids and
your brothers of Coverdom.
That's right.
That's
and
right.
we've done a lot of sharing our own personal experiences. Rather than just we dig into the artist because it's important to let you guys know who the artist is. That never has gone away. We need to say the name of the artist because a lot of times people don't know these artists' names, and as artists ourselves, we don't want them to go unnoticed or unheard. But on the other side, I've learned so much about you guys because we just share our own personal experiences.
I mean, you guys so much.
You guys got to find out that I did not have a library in my hometown. I had a bookmobile. And
I found out you can only see pink.
Yeah, I can only see pink. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? What were your expectations and what it became?
Yeah, Brengineer, I'm very curious to get your take on like where, because you were the last man to be brought in.
But we needed.
Well, I was only brought in because I know the tech stuff.
Wrong.
I was
wrong.
That's it. That's the only reason. I'm the Scotty. I'm the Scotty in the engine room. Like Scotty's replaceable, and
you're Scotty, but infected. You're Scotty infected with the Thing virus. Because
I was gonna say, yeah. Or you are like the organic ship in which we are inside and fly. You are you're the space guild.
Great. I'm a partly living inanimate object.
No. We need to live inside you. That is what we're saying.
But what did you think was going to happen with this show?
Well, I had done a podcast before,
Ooh.
and it was fine, but it was a chore, So, I've. It was kind of like let's just give it a whirl kind of deal. Like at worst, at the time we were doing it in the book house, and I would have no issues showing you guys how to do it if I decided I was gonna want to bow out. I felt like I was sort of helping you guys out with a thing. And then suddenly, oh man, I look forward to this every week.
Yeah.
This is super fun. And it's time to talk. It's a time of the week I get to talk about the stuff I love with my friends.
Easily.
So that hasn't changed. What has changed is the fact that now I'm looking at you fellas through a computer screen.
Yeah.
So
we got to bring that up.
That's been an unfortunate part of this whole thing, which it's still super cool. Like we have the technology that we can still record and do everything, but it just takes away just a tiny bit of the enjoyment of actually recording the thing.
Well, so that's a great segue. What are some of the challenges? Because I mean, Brendan, you said obviously COVID has been. It's been huge, folks, for a lot of things for us in all aspects of our lives. But, recording specifically, we have learned to adapt. But, it's different. It is different.
Yeah.
And
you probably noticed the point in which we switched over because we were sounding real queamy. Willy, queemy. We had some... We had some nice microphones going on in the other place.
That's right.
I'm still using, one of the nice microphones, but the other fellas didn't have all the gear.
No.
So for a while there,
the organic Brengineer ship got hit with a torpedo, and it crash landed on an alien planet.
Yeah.
And we had to fuse it with wood and other bits of non-organic material.
We can rebuild him.
Right.
Yes, we had to rebuild him.
My flesh had to assimilate those non-flesh parts.
We had to build a new nipple dial for him.
Wonky.
Yeah,
that's right.
A new his nipple dial is beautiful now.
Well,
That's
I
my
gotta
favorite
say,
dial.
I massively miss the book house. We're all together. The chemistry is a little bit more organic because we're in the same room, smelling each other's smells, seeing each other's faces. Brengineer had his cocoon of technology around him, which just gave him that respect and bravado.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I had the buttons, the thing I could press the button,
the buttons, the
doodads,
clips,
and get the
ding ding
clips.
Ding. But I will say, a silver lining or the double-edged, the good side of this sword is that we started learning how to record over the internet. And when we were given the opportunity to do an interview, we were able to fucking do the interview. We didn't have to scramble as much. We were already kind of set up to do those interviews over the internet for you guys, and we're hoping to have more of those in next season. So that has been a
we're
plus.
not hoping, we will.
We're gonna,
and to kind of jump off that, I think for me one of the difficulties has really just been other than obviously the book house, which is huge, but has been time management, folks. Because one of the things that I didn't expect when I came into the show was how time consuming it was actually going to be. And if you're thinking it's really eye opening to podcasts, because obviously there's podcasts out there where it's just, one person and they maybe put some information up. But when you're really trying to do something with multiple people, there's a lot of cogs, there's a lot of wheels, there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of editing that goes on. And it takes hours, folks. It takes hours to do all this stuff. And I did not expect that. So for me, time management has been such a interesting hurdle to tackle. And then, like Ink said, one of the advantages to COVID is that it basically forced us to figure out this internet thing. Because I can guarantee you, if this hadn't have happened, we wouldn't have had an interview for a while. Because we were so comfortable sitting in there just recording around each other and not worrying about how to bring another person in. So in some respects, that it has helped us in that respect. and we are learning to do this digital thing, and I hope you guys are still enjoying the format, because, you know, I think I'm still having a great time. It's been an awesome trip with these beautiful boys.
Just so you're curious, that's spelled B-O-I-C-E.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
is it?
right.
Oh, I spelled it
not
B-O-I-S.
B-O-I-S. No,
Boyce.
B-O-I-S. B-O-I-C-E. Boyce.
Yeah, and then
That's
you
important,
can
guys.
take the
That's
B
important.
and turn that into an N, and then you can say noise.
Noise.
Noise, lads.
See how that works?
Noise boys.
Noise boys.
Noise Boys. That's the name of our hip hop album. Noise Boys. Noise Boys.
Duh.
We did it. We
Duh,
did
Noise
it.
Boys.
Because you got early hip hop, you got to misspell everything. See what happens, folks? See what happens? You got to.
Patented.
Yeah.
All rights reserved.
And
The Noise Boys.
The coolest thing about this podcast, folks, has been just finding these artists, these just regular freaking people who are working hard to make art. We love that, and we love you guys, and we love anyone who is creative. And so, you know, this hasn't, you know, this whole diatribe here, it hasn't. It's just been a retrospective for us, just kind of showcasing that, you know, we love doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and we do this anyway. It's like Inks has said this several times in the show. We just sit around and do this on our free time.
Yeah, we talk
so
about.
we just decided to put it online.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say we've all grown quite a bit. Like Tapes has taken up sort of this managerial role of making sure that we're always on schedule and writing up schedules and having calendars. I've been pushing to try and get cover art out there, and just hanging out with these guys has pushed me into being braver with my art and having less fear. Brengineer has been coming up with just the most fantastic audio, but also
so much juice.
This project has forced us to grow.
It has.
All rest.
And if you've been listening and just, you know, maybe you're just one of these creative people inside that hasn't been taking the initiative. If we give you any spark of that, just embrace that spark and take it and run.
Be brave.
You know? And do that,
That's right.
and go out, because honestly, it's been harrowing to put ourselves up. I don't think any of us felt comfortable putting ourselves out on the internet, and we're done. We're just gonna fucking do it and go with it and see where it takes us. And speaking of that, I'm gonna talk a little bit about season 2 before we jump into what this is all about, what this final episode.
The main event.
So I'm not gonna give you guys too much, because in our first episode of season 2, which will be happening in October, we are going to be, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, except that it might have something to do with floppy floppers. Tentacles might be on the menu for the first episode of October. But we do plan on releasing our Patreon in October. If you guys are interested in that, if you don't know what Patreon is, we'll talk a little bit more about it in season 2. But there will be more episodes. It'll be at least an extra full episode a month, plus maybe a few nuggets here and there.
Bites.
Spread throughout. So we're going to do that. You can look forward to more interviews.
Yes.
And of course, it will be a full 24 episode season, folks. So that's kind of some stuff to look forward to coming up. We're super stoked. We are taking, you know, I guess it's only a 2-week break.
Yeah.
But really, that's just preparation for October.
Yeah. It's basically so we can stuff all of our acorns in the tree before the winter sets in. That's right.
And take a quick nap before we dive headlong.
A snoozer.
So yeah, that's what we got for you, folks. Just a little bit of a retrospective there. We just wanted you to hear our thoughts and see where we're coming from. It's been a really fun season. We've enjoyed all of you who've reached out to us, who've contacted us, who've liked us, who've followed us. It's so fucking cool. Huge thank you to Jason Shook, Guild of Lore. If you're listening to this, you're our boy. You're our boy.
Man.
You're a BOI.
The Ingsmith.
Yeah. The Ings Master for being our first interview. That was so cool. Such a cool experience.
Yes.
More to come. So, as we have teased, as we have consistently put out there in the interwebs for I think the last 3 months, We
teased and nibbled,
leg showed, and danced.
We danced on our Instagram.
We gave you everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? The cover nights out there have rallied to the call, and they have come. So this is a random fandom episode. We're going to do this probably every year, I would say. And here's how it worked. We asked for people to bring covers. They sent us covers. We would like to thank all 5 of you who entered: Mary, Jason, David, Otter Ceramics, and Finn Briscoe. You guys are awesome.
Huzzah!
You are fighting the Gornak by listening to this podcast and forging ahead for art. We appreciate that.
Yes.
And just keep going forth, and whatever your ventures are, you're getting your covers decoded today. You have joined the Pantheon. That's right. So how this works, we each picked our favorite cover from the entries. I put all those names into a hat, and then from that, we drew randomly 3 names to be selected for the final winner of the shirt. So everyone's getting their cover decoded. We're going to do the honorable mentions right now, but just so you know, it was completely random.
Completely.
May the best cover win. And with that, let's decode some covers, boys.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, so what do we have starting up here?
Oh my god.
Look at it. Yeah, take a look.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right. So Finn Briscoe, I actually don't even know if he intended to be part of this pool, but he sent us a message and he said, he said, I dare you to do my cover for my latest book.
I dare you.
So I said, cool, dude, you're in the pool. So you know what, Finn? Here you
Good
go.
enough for
this
us.
is for
So this is called God is a Mortician, a brief history of green aliens with 15 eyes. Mortician deities on Earth and extraterrestrial experimentation with human sexuality. And on the cover, you've got a alien with many eyes riding some sort of pink motorcycle with looks like God sort of floating next to him. And then there's like a space background. This is actually I gotta say, this is awesome. I love this art. This is clearly it's clearly colored pencil.
Yep.
Yes, correct.
Colored pencil art by Andriy Dankovych.
That's correct. So, real quick, Finn Briscoe. This is his novel. It came out in May 29th, 2020. It's a absurdist sci-fi novel. A lot of what I heard, just kind of looking in the reviews. Sorry, Finn, I didn't have time to read the book, but a lot of people related it to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, nice.
It's basically the narrator is telling his son this history, and his son is like trying to grapple with the reality of it as it goes through all these crazy, wacky things. And I think the cover is a great interpretation of this.
It's a grabber.
Yeah. Well, it's this. So what do you guys? I should have looked it up before the show, but do you guys know that cartoonist? He's always in the Sunday Funnies, and he does those like, those 2-panel comic strips, and they're always really.
Is it Bizarro?
Bizarro. This reminds me a lot of kind of Bizarro looking. It's super fun. It's super flavorful, and honestly, it really it does the job in making you interested. Yeah. Like when you see this, you're gonna click on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, what is this about?
Right, and I love that God is straight up out of a kung fu movie. He's like a kung fu master. Like, have you seen Kill Bill? The guy who trains Beatrix. That's what God looks like right now. His beard is that long. He's floating through the sky, but he's got this claw, this wushu claw going on, this kung fu claw.
Yeah, totally.
As he's getting up next to this alien youth that's just like, nah.
No, dude, I'm taking it out of here. I'm going to collect some seed, bro. I like too that God, rather than being just some like old dude, is like a young hot Amish guy. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's just missing the pilgrim hat.
No, he's not old man winter. He's got that sort of combed back. Like he's probably got some sort of pomade in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's, some sort of heavenly pomade.
All the Amish girls want to go on a walk with him through the garden.
Absolutely, with the proper balloon size of distance between them,
I really like the space background, too. I think it's so cool. I love there's the picture, and then there's the space background.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's like when you click
I
on
would have
a...
honestly preferred... I would have preferred a full cover of the alien on motorcycle rather than the space background.
Or have it,
but, what can you do?
Have him riding on a
framing.
ring or something on a
See,
planet.
I like the framing. To me, it's super catching. Plus, the black helps offset that yellow, so it makes the wording look really.
It's got a very
bright.
striking font. Yeah, the font almost looks like maybe the artist wrote that out or something. But it's this very wacky sort of like hand drawn looking. It almost looks like
it's very Douglas Adams. It's very Douglas Adams.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's like cut out of paper or something. But it's like this piss yellow.
It's totally
we love a good piss
totally
yellow.
soul patch yellow.
Yeah, we love a good
yellow.
Yeah, we love a good yellow.
So as Brengineer said, the illustrator for this was Andriy Dankovych. Andriy, I hope I'm saying that right. He is a Ukrainian artist. Check out his site there.
It's Andriy.
Andriy, maybe that's it.
Andriy? Wait, is that two I's or an I and an L?
Here's the funny thing. When I had trouble finding him at first. I didn't think I was going to find him because on the book and in Amazon it has two I's, but it's actually RIY. So when I went to look him up, I couldn't find him. And then I forget how I ended up finding him, but I found his page. And the only reason I could verify it was him, folks, was because I got an interview with him.
Woo!
That's right.
You old honey dripper.
Yeah, that's right. So Andriy is a pretty awesome artist. If you take a look at some of his other stuff, he knows how to wield those colored pencils. And his site says, I'm an artist and graphic designer. I particularly create comics and illustrations using colored pencils and digital tools as well. Science fiction and horror are my favorite topics. So that's his bio, right. But why go with the bio when we can go a little more in depth?
I just clicked on it.
Take a look at some of his stuff.
Oh, that alien's ill.
Right out the gate. Look at that alien.
And you can look at the tri-nostril.
You can tell looking at that alien that this is him.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Oh, wow.
Tri-nostril.
Right? Oh, it's rad.
Oh, you got to check it out, folks.
Look at the eyes. Oh, this guy's art's awesome. Look at the one with the guy floating up into space.
Wow, that's a lot of colored pencil work.
Whoa. Look at the guy in the space battle.
Look at the fat mosasaur. Oh, I love it.
Dinosaurs, aliens.
This is
guns.
good stuff.
Yeah,
this
good
guy,
job.
And man, with colored pencils, I love colored pencils, and you don't see that a lot anymore.
Yeah, that was a Brengineer quote that if you're a good artist, you can use crayons. And it looks like, man, these must be huge because looking at the colored pencil marks on there, this is a marathon of a day doing these.
Yeah.
Devotion.
Oh man.
So why don't we dig in a little deep here? So I got a written interview here with Andriy, and I'm gonna read it verbatim what I wrote and what he responded, and we'll kind of talk about it as we go. So here it goes. All right, so here's the interview with Andriy. So I said, "Hey friends, I'm part of a podcast about cover art, and we're doing an episode covering Finn Briscoe's book cover for God is a Mortician. Did you do the art for the book? And if so, would you be down to answer a few questions?" See, I use down because it's hip.
Yeah.
It usually gets a response.
We're very hip.
That's right, very hip. So Andriy responds with, "Hi, yes." I said, "Awesome. What did you design the cover with? What materials?" And he responded, "Colored pencils." "Did you have any specific instructions on the look for the cover, or did Finn tell you to just go for it?" He said, "No, I didn't. Just made it as I felt it." Super cool.
Yes.
And, Finn Briscoe kind of seems like the type of person who probably wouldn't put limitations on his cover artist, But it's really cool, again, folks, seeing what happens when there's no camel humpers in there, when you're just able to...
Okay, if you guys don't know, that refers to the idea of a camel is a horse designed by a committee. If you got a bunch of people trying to change up a design, it comes out a camel instead of a beautiful horse.
That's right.
Just to go off what you were saying there, Tapes, is in the past when I've done, when I do commission work, in the past, generally what happens is, depending on the personality, right? You get some folks who are very much like, it must look exactly like this. And if it doesn't, they're like, you need to change this. You need to change this. Those type of projects are exhausting.
Brutal.
Right.
They're terrible. And most of the time, you don't get paid for the extra work. No. They're just stringing you along to get more work out of you. And it sucks. The best ones are, hey, I've got this concept. I did a piece for this band called Delmac Zero, which is this great synth band. And,
folks, it's awesome. Go check it out. It was a beautiful piece.
It's this wonderful dark synth album that is just this beautiful thing. And Dylan Roop, who asked me to do the cover, who's the musician from the band, hey, I got this concept about these astronauts. They're escaping from Earth. They land on this planet. And all stuff goes down. Like, do you think you can come up with something for that? And basically, I was given free reign to do whatever I wanted. And I had tons of ideas.
That's great.
And he was like, yeah, that all sounds great. And, so you get people who want control and they can't do it themselves. So they're going to have someone else do it, but they're going to control the process.
Right. Yeah.
Or you have folks who want collaboration.
Artistic lingerers.
Exactly. They're gonna. It's a marriage. You want a marriage between the two artists.
Andriy did a great job with the grays or the greens in this. He did it, and you can tell this is obviously this novel. I haven't read it, but it's gonna be a psychedelic trip if you do. And why would you impose limitations on writing that isn't limited with a cover? So I feel that in this cover too, you can sense that he just had a good time with it. So,
dude,
totally.
As he said,
So
just made it as I felt it. So, how'd you get the idea for the alien on the bike and God floating over his shoulder? Did you have any inspiration for that? Weird movies, music in the background? He says, it's characters from the novel, including the God. That was the first time I illustrated absurdist science fiction book. So, this is really cool. So this is his. So if you look at his work, folks, it's a lot darker than this.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot more horror based, even in his sci-fi. So this is a really different. In fact, this actually isn't even in his portfolio on his website, and I think it's because it's so different from his other work. And so you can kind of, again, it's really cool that this was he got the chance to play and to do something wacky and out of his camp, and I think he nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So really cool. Again, I think as an artist, not actually having done any work myself, but being given a project where you have to challenge yourself to do something you wouldn't normally do, I think is very profitable. So take those risks, and he definitely did. So I said, your other stuff seems a bit darker, more horror-based. Was it difficult to do or something more comical or just different? He said, I wouldn't say it was difficult, just weird and funny. So, like I was saying, it seems like he just had a good time with it. He ran with it. And he added interesting experience after that as well. So really cool, folks. If you're an artist, if you're taking commissions, if you get something that you're like, nah, not my style, take it.
Take it.
Yeah, take it.
Jump in that pool.
Yeah.
Take your shirt off.
Diversify your cover stew. Okay, after a while, people are going to get bored with the flavor. Throw something else in the mix.
Change your flavor up.
Yeah. Put a fucking onion in there, bro.
Hey,
Might
that's
taste
nice.
good.
That's nice. Like my nana sauce. She never had a recipe. Right. Yeah, she just threw whatever she wanted in there. Hey, you didn't even know this herb.
so I continue. Can you tell? I said that's awesome. You can tell you had fun with it. In your opinion, is a cover important? Do you think they add anything to the material? And have you created any other covers before?
What is your answer?
Good question.
Good
Yes.
question.
Oh,
That's something
yeah.
everyone should ask themselves right now and every
That's
morning.
right. He says cover is really important. Yes, I made a lot covers earlier. Regarding the materials, colored pencil was my favorite since I was a kid. So, yes, for him, again, another artist, covers are extremely important. And then jumping back to that earlier question, he's been doing colored pencil, obviously, since he was a youngin'. In fact, in the next in the next question said, I say here, I really enjoy your colored pencil stuff. What got you into art as a kid? And he said, just started drawing when I was 4, so I don't remember. So, Andriy, he grabbed those colored pencils and he started when he was a kid and he never let go. And that is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think for all of us here, we've all done art. We're all in different spots as artists, but we always go back to it.
Every time.
Every time. And obviously Brengineer and Inks have harnessed that and rolled with it, and it's a stronger love. But even myself, who I would not call myself a trained artist or a professional artist, I always go back to drawing, or doodling or painting or something.
Is anyone really a professional
Yes.
artist, though?
Yes, they are.
Is anyone
Yes, they
is
are.
anyone really a trained artist, though?
Yes, they are.
Do your fucking
What
best.
do those things? What does that mean? I mean,
when I look at something and I have to question if it's a real
Jackson Pollock's art.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Those are
That's fair.
salesmen. But yeah. I said this quote a couple times throughout the season, but an artist or a professional is an amateur who knows how to recover. So if you feel that you're not where you want to be, or you've taken a turn somewhere that you didn't expect, there's ways to come back from that, and you just keep going. You could fix that one, you could start over, but the thing is do not stop. You keep pushing.
Forge ahead. That's what we're trying to do, folks. This is the love we're trying to put. If you already have it, great. If you don't, or if you've lost it, pick up that axe.
Yeah.
Take those ovary bolas and go attack your passion.
That's
Do
right.
it.
We're your metal audio grandmas just encouraging you. We want to see your macaroni creations. We want to see your homemade gifts. We're gonna come see your plays.
She's so proud. So proud. Okay, so let's finish up here with Andriy.
Yes, sir.
So I say, I can tell you've been doing it for a while. One final question. What is your favorite cover and why? The most important question here on Cover to Coder, folks.
Super.
Yeah, it can be anything, movie, album, poster. He responded with, "Let me think." And then if you boys will go to the next
that's
slide
what this
there.
is.
Yes.
Oh,
Erica
what a
Badu
pick.
album covers because of lots of details and interesting ideas. Holy shit. So this takes me back to freaking
I've never seen this
memory
before.
lane. Oh,
It's so good.
boys. Erica Badu, it turns out, has some insane album covers. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, man.
So thank you,
This is a
Andriy.
great. This is a great.
This is amazing.
Yeah, this is great.
And you can totally see why he would select this cover, because it uses a lot of his sort of color palette. But as well as that, just look at all the little details in this thing. Her afro, folks, is it's a picture of Erica Badu. She's got her knuckles facing out. It says it's her album title, New America, and her afro is just filled with these things, just all these different things. It's infested with.
It's made up of. It's got handcuffs on there.
Oh, yeah.
Cheeseburgers, dollar signs,
Cheeseburgers.
guns, needles, cameras. This is showing America.
Yeah.
From possibly an African American perspective.
Oh man, I love the letters at the very top. The Erica Badu as the top of her afro. You can see the letters kind of intertwined in there. It's so good.
Andriy, thank you for this experience. Thank you for this cover. It was well crafted. And Finn Briscoe, thanks for the intro. So that's our first honorable mention, folks. We're going to move into our second one here.
What is this?
So,
I have so much to say. Folks, I haven't seen any of these.
Yes.
Just the
look at it.
I know that Inks and Tape saw these. I'm a virgin on his wedding night for these covers.
Oh no!
So,
well, your wedding night just got ruined by this one.
Yeah, this got really weird.
This was sent in by
my wedding night got
Ceramics.
real.
Yeah.
My wife turned out to be into bondage on my wedding night.
That's right.
I didn't know this about
bondage,
her.
but where
Suddenly,
she starts putting a weird wig on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's got a leather mask on with a zipper mouth. I don't know why. And what's that long rubbery thing?
What are you
I
doing
don't
with
like
those
these
gloves? What's that can of grease for?
Why don't the handcuffs
oh,
have the fluffy
what's
stuff
going
on
on
to protect
there?
my skin?
I'm not used to this
so
kind
folks,
of.
we're looking at an album cover for
That's
the band
right.
Rabbit, and the
Rabbit.
album is
What
called
is going on?
The album is called Too Much Rock and Roll, and this is from arguably one of my favorite eras of heavy metal / rock and roll. I don't even know where. So first
All
of
right.
all,
What?
Can we just
First
talk
off the
about
bat? No.
the lead singer?
What's the guy?
The lead singer.
I'm not worried
looks
about the
like he
lead
just got a
singer.
hip replacement. He's standing with his legs spread, and
Yep.
his vest has. So you guys know on Thanksgiving when you get
What's
the
wrong with
ham,
his abs?
and it's got those laces tied around it, and you have to like flip them off. That's what
it's
his
holding
belly
it all
is
in.
right now.
Yeah.
He's got these laces holding his belly rolls in.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought that was like a really intense six pack, or that he just had some sort of roll problem.
He's trying to keep it in.
That is the pre-cut package of rolls that you need to just take out and put in the oven. That is the pre-bake rolls. Yeah, this album.
His hand looks like it should be holding a banana, but it's not.
They just digitaled the banana out. It was too much. The guy on the far right there looks like his IBS.
That's what I'm talking about.
His IBS
What's
just
going
got the
on in
better
his
of
mouth?
To me, it looks like he's trying to like use the force. Like he's got his hand clenched and he's like,
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
gonna show everyone right now.
I can actually do it. He's so aloof.
And he's making the noise. You can see his space noises with his pursed lips. Yeah, it looks like they got into the costume department and just started pulling out clothes from the previous play put on by children, because all of these clothes are way too small, way too tight. So they got all the kids' costumes.
Hey Jeremy, what have you got in your mum's locker? You got anything good in there? Any satin?
Got some laces.
I think it'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, I need
the
some tight
rapist
pants.
glasses guy on the far left looks like both his legs are broken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's because he's trying to walk in those platform shoes, dude.
Oh,
None
man,
of these
those
guys can wear these
shoes.
things. That's why Johnny in the front has hip problems, because his shoes don't fit.
Yeah, he
He's
can't wear
busting
regular
out his-
shoes anymore.
What's with Tom Cruise from Interview with the Vampire?
Yeah.
Lurking in the background here.
He's getting ready for a little nibble.
Yeah,
Look with your rock and roll eyes.
eyes.
Oh man, look at the! I gotta say, I love the RKO rabbit logo, the Acme
Oh, yeah.
exploding rabbit logo. It's
Well, so-
truly horrible.
Yeah, so this is Rabbit. It's an Australian glam rock band from
Of course,
Newcastle.
Australian.
From Newcastle. They were formed in 1973.
Newcastle.
They were originally called the Cherries. Ooh.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, and yeah,
Their first album was
they're
called
hard
Hot
rock.
Poppin'.
Well, this one, their first album was just called Rabbit. And then this is their second album, Too Much Rock and Roll. It was put out in 1976, and then they disbanded in late 1977. So they were together long enough to bring us this beautiful piece of history.
Yeah, folks, this is
time
Dakota
capsule.
History. This is
the time
history
capsule
that has thankfully been lost to time.
Yeah,
now.
This was
until now.
We didn't even know. We've opened the Ark of the Covenant, and the ghosts are going to come out and make my head explode.
These
That's
are
what
the
you've
ghosts.
done here tonight.
This is what the Nazis saw in the Ark.
This was never supposed to come out.
I did not wear your tight pants. No. Oh,
What should we
man.
talk about?
Yeah. Folks, this is from that era of rock and roll where everyone and everyone was trying
Everything
to make
goes.
it big in the scene.
Yeah.
And they would raid any like Ink said, any theater company's box, put on whatever pirate shirt and platform shoes they could, and just bang on some instruments and try to put an album out there. Yeah, and we're probably going to get into this more in another episode because we're going to do a butt rocking episode. But, a big part of this was hits. So if you could even get a hit, a record label would swoop you up because everyone was trying to get the next big thing. You know, everyone was exploding. There were constantly people coming out with one hit wonders. So who
Money
knows?
for nothing.
Rabbit could have been that, but guess what? They were not.
It's hard to find their music. This was an early entry, and I was like, I got to find this album. I got to experience it all the way through. And I couldn't find it on Spotify.
Wow.
I couldn't find it in the usual places. You have to go to YouTube. But you get the videos, which is very important. You get to see this, but moving in action. You get to see.
That's right. We're going to
get
go
to
out
see
there.
the
We're going to play
ham.
our hardest. That's right. You're going to see that.
we
You're going to see
get a guy with
the
you,
honey,
we're gonna
the
play
honey glazed
so hard.
tummy and all its sweaty
You
glory.
get to see it like pulse and move.
And we're gonna pour a little bit of that liquor on this cover and just light it on fire.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do because it's too hot. It's too hot to
And
look
that's
at.
probably what
folks.
they would want.
It's too hot for
It's
your
too hot
eyes.
to touch.
Do it.
It's too hot to touch.
Burn it. I don't care. Burn it.
Yeah, Otter Ceramics. Thank you for this entry. I mean,
did it.
maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel
I never
like
need to
my
see
eyes
that
have been
pork loin
drained.
stomach again.
You know what, though? We're going to see more. We're going to see more sad, fat tummies trying to make it big because, like I said, we're going to do a hot rockin' episode. But for now, we'll leave Rabbit there in obscurity, except for here on this podcast. You're welcome, Rabbit. Thank you, boys. Yes. Maybe I think we're thinking about
thanks,
getting
lads.
back together again and moving on.
Boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'd go to a Rabbit
yeah.
concert at Tang's.
At Tangs, at Tangs.com. They're playing. So, folks, those were our honorable mentions. Thank you
Good
once
job.
again. It is time for our 3 selectees and the main event. Who will win the shirt? Who will gain cover dominance? Actually, all these covers are great, so whoever gets the shirt, it's just random. Don't feel bad. We love
is.
all these covers. Okay?
Yeah.
We love them all. Mwah.
Yep.
This is a
Mwah.
double random system. We randomly chose 3, and then we're going to randomly choose 1.
That's right. So go ahead and let's take a look at our first one. This was sent in by Mary. And Mary, you did me proud. You did me proud. I was very happy to select
absolutely.
this poster. So folks, we are looking at the poster for the film Scanners by David Cronenberg, and prepare to have your brain explode.
One of my favorites.
Absolutely. So,
Have you guys seen this movie? Yeah.
oh yes, I have. I figured you would have a story to tell us here.
Okay, so my story is this. David Cronenberg, okay, is one of my favorite humans.
He's got the birds.
Human creators, artists. One of his films, I didn't watch until much later, known as Videodrome, was one I used to look at in the video store a whole lot. And
that is literally VHS porn. It is VHS going into vaginal openings.
Yeah, it's literally
everything I want.
The plot is actually about a man who gets a vaginal opening in his belly, and he's able to be programmable via VHS tapes inserted into the stomach vagina.
I'm actually trying to get that grafted right now, but they won't fund me for it. So.
If you guys want to go to Tapes GoFundMe, you can help make that a reality.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember my first time seeing Scanners or the first time I saw this poster, but man, oh man, such an effective poster. Has one of the most famous head explosions of all time.
Still, to this day, probably the best head explosion, I think, of all time.
Yes. It's got a great performance by Michael Ironside. All the rest of the acting is laughably terrible, but everything else is great. Great film, great twist ending there.
The best part is the end where they both do they both do Robin Williams impersonation of a hot dog. And then they just sit there shaking at each other and going, well, these veins pop up and they light on fire and their eyes roll back in their head and they just make these noises like they're having the most explosive orgasm ever. And you don't know what's going on.
Sounds like quite the night.
And then at the end, you find out a big secret, which I'm not going to tell you because you're going to look at this cover. Yeah. You're going to want to find out what the movie is about and you're going to watch it. Yeah. So, Inks, tell us what we're looking at.
All right, we're looking at, and I have to say to my shame, I have not seen this movie. But with that description, I got to go do it. Anyways, so what we're looking at is like a 80s business suit kind of a guy. He's got the jacket off. He does have the vest because he's a classy lad, and he's got the tie, the everything. But he is now looks like he's been placed into a microwave, and he's got his veins pulsing out, and his hands are locked, and the energy is flowing up and actually causing a distortion around his shoulders and his head, and his hair is on end, and his eyes are white and rolled back, and he's going.
That's right. That's right, folks. He's getting a movie theater BJ, and he's going.
Yeah, it's sucking his will to live, and I can't say much more other than it looks like this nice business guy.
Awesome framing, awesome lettering, a really
super effective
poster. Yeah,
right.
So let me deep dive into this one. So this is done by a lady named Joann Daley, and I found a pretty cool article actually about. I'll link that in.
Oh no!
But it is actually about this poster. There's not too much information. The gentleman who is responsible for that article did tell that someone from her trustee or whatnot got to him and told her that she is now passed. So R.I.P. Joann Daley. But she is the artist responsible for many covers, some iconic from the 80s and 90s. If you boys click on the link there, you'll get to take a look at those. Berengineer will be very tantalized by one of them. But let me talk a little about her style here. She is a multimedia artist. So she works. She does mainly acrylic, but she's done acrylic and watercolor on board, which I don't even really understand. I guess you would watercolor first and then acrylic over. But those two things seem like an odd combo.
So
she's popcorn.
Yep, that's right.
She used acrylics and then watercolor over the acrylics.
I don't know. I don't know what the process. I don't know what she did specifically for this one. I just know the styles she used. So she would use acrylic, mostly acrylic on board, acrylic and watercolor. She used gouache on board. Gouache. And gouache and pencil. Just gouache and pencil for some of her stuff too.
Creep show.
Yeah. So some very iconic films.
Some great ones.
This wonderful cover Valkyrie has created for us.
Yeah, she's created some really soft textures with whatever she did. Probably the gouache to create that soft texture. But we often
I didn't think that you painted with gouache. Is that a thing?
Yeah,
I thought gouache was just something you use on your board.
No, it's something. No, you're thinking of gesso. You're thinking of gesso.
Oh,
but,
I am.
But think of gouache as like a really liquidy, creamy. Well, people are they're gonna say no, this isn't true. But it's like a liquidy, creamy acrylic, or maybe even an opaque watercolor. It has more presence than a watercolor, but it blends really nicely. And so she's able to get these really creamy glows, like on Prison, this movie poster, or Popcorn. She's got these really creamy glows in the background. And then I'm just guessing, conjecture here. She then goes in with the acrylics or maybe some more gouache and does the details over that. But we often kind of kick the sand at oil and be like, oh, you must use oil because it's so gorgeous and creamy and sweaty.
Wet.
But this lady has found a way to achieve that sweat and that gleam
sometimes
with gouache.
So my one critique of a lot of Joann's pieces, they're all they have this soft goodwill glow about them in a lot of them. I think that must be the gouache or maybe acrylics. I don't think it's acrylics because you can still get the wet colors with acrylics. But in fact, some of her pieces, it dates them because there's something about that softness.
Oh, absolutely.
That looks like it's from it's a 70s, 80s, kind of 90s thing. This kind of soft,
absolutely.
glowy.
Yeah, we love that. These need that.
Well, we love some of it.
This is that.
Some of it looks very cummy.
Yeah, no, dude, this is that horror. This is the era for that. What's this freaking mullety guy with the golf club?
Hold on.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, with the golfing.
Let's not jump the gun yet. So a little more about Joann. So she was actually a very prolific artist. So she went beyond posters, above and beyond. She did over 200 posters for films.
What?
Including a poster for Friday the 13th. Again, cover-cessed. The covers intermingling, doing the thing. She did trading cards. She did the Playboys. Wow. She did book covers. I found one for The Haunted Cottage, which this is another critique of mine. She has a little bit of the Jim Holloway touch in that some of her people just look like they've been hit in the head with a few too many bricks. Like they just they just don't look right. Like I mean, obviously she was a busy lady. That's the thing about artists is, you're gonna have to speed through. But some of her people just look a little bit off, as we're going to find out.
That happens. That happens with everyone. You're gonna knock it out of the park some days, and some days you're gonna get through the painting or the drawing or whatever,
blast it.
so you can get to the next thing.
Rushing. Yeah.
It's fine.
Right. And so she did album covers, and she ended up doing a lot of advertising pieces, which if you click on that link, you'll see her big old juicy wet Budweiser.
BLs,
Budweiser. Her Budweiser
her
piece
Superweiser.
Budweiser.
Yeah, her Budweiser monoliths. Yeah.
So such a cool artist that honestly is just kind of lost to time.
Yeah, we don't know enough about her, man.
There's hardly anything about her. There's no wiki. I found this one article, and funnily enough, I think this person must have either been related or known her, but I found a eBay guy who was selling a bunch of her pieces.
Really?
Original pieces. Yeah, and he
we
actually
can have
had
our own creamy golf club toting Superman
for $700. For $700.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Yeah. Joann, your ghost out there, just know your work is valued at $700.
We're
$700.
Dude, if I get the original Scanners piece, then
you're not getting that. Yeah. That's not going to be $700. So another thing she did, she also did some 80s greeting cards for the Men of Paper Moon, which basically showcased some sexy working boys hot rocking it with various tools of the trade, which you'll kind of see some of that stuff in there. But this was a article I wrote. I actually found the article, but LA Times, who wrote the article, you have to subscribe to read the fucking thing. So I couldn't read the whole article. But I got this clip. This was from 1993. Robert Epstein wrote, Joann Daley has been a Hollywood artist for 22 years. When she started, 40% of advertising and poster art was done by illustrators. In 10 years, James Costello says these poster illustrations will have for greater value than any photos. So basically what I get from what that's saying is that they could even tell then that the physical art, the medium of painting art, was fading. It was going away towards photos. It was going away from illustration. And so those pieces...
Photos are cheaper.
Yeah, and those pieces...
But they're less effective.
Were going to be... Yeah, the actual physical pieces would be more valuable because they were real and because they took artistic credit.
Real.
Yeah, a very wide-ranging artist. She has some amazing pieces. She has obviously some advertisement pieces, some rushed pieces. But again, just one of these artists from time that spent a lot of time embedding herself in the industry, worked really hard, and created some iconic stuff that has gone unnoticed. So Joann Daley, we recognize you here and now. And Mary, thank you for bringing her up.
Good job, Mary. All right. Next up is an entry by David. And this one's an interesting one. Very interesting. This is the 1978 studio album by The Clash called Give 'Em Enough Rope.
All right.
All right. Lads, who wants to describe this album to the folks out there?
All right, I love this because this is
it's a clash of cultures for sure.
It's Clash.
It's a clash of colors. This thing is jarring to the eyes. So clearly, it looks like maybe a shot out of a movie, or possibly it's an actual photo. I'm not sure, but it looks like there's a guy on a horse staring at a body. And there's some vultures pecking at the body, right? But it's been colorized in the most heinous of ways. So the sky is just bright baby blue. The desert is just this desert is French's mustard yellow.
Yes, it is.
This is soul patch yellow. This is about as toxic as it gets. The dead cowboy on the ground here, his shirt is the same color as the sky, and it clashes. That's the whole point.
He needs Willie Jesus.
That's right. He needs Willie Jesus.
Well,
or is it Waylon?
There's like Chinese lettering for
there's some Chinese lettering.
Clash? What's going on there?
And on the back, you've got a whole army marching with red flags, and once again there's that awful yellow, that awful sky blue.
That's right.
All the colors clash, but it's so awesome looking. It's so pleasing to the eye at the same time.
Yeah. So this album was sent to us by David. It was one of his, he loves The Clash, he said, and this was one of his favorite albums. And it has it's got an interesting story. I'm gonna tell a story. Now this album came in between their first album called The Clash and then the iconic album London Calling. And this album was produced by Sandy Pearlman with CBS Records, and Sandy had been brought in. Yeah, Sandy Pearlman. He's an interesting character, and what going into this album caused me to do it caused me to go listen to the audio doco on Spotify called Live Free, and it's really good. If you guys are fans of The Clash or want to know more about Clash or even early punk, it's a really cool take on the band because it's hosted by Chuck D from Public Enemy. And nice. So it's really cool. So he's kind of putting in his thoughts on the relationship between punk and hip hop, or he was talking about studio contracts and stuff like that, and you have to really check it and really read it, and some of the things that he was learning about with the Clash, he's like, oh yeah, I remember having that problem. And so it's a great audio documentary, and they talk about this album, but they don't talk about the covers. So I'm here to talk about the cover, but just to give you a little bit of background, this album was produced by Sandy Pearlman, CBS Records, and CBS Records wanted to release a more polished record in America before they released their original album called The Clash. And there was already a big following, especially in New York, of The Clash, where people were buying imported records, but they had to buy them at a premium. So their original record had not been released yet, and they wanted to have this record be the first thing to be released in America. So this album came.
They wanted the shiny leather jacket and not just the puke and needles.
Yeah, no, they didn't want it. They didn't think Americans were ready for the raw stuff, so they had to come in with Sandy Pearlman.
You're not ready for my mohawk. You're not ready for my boots. You're not ready
for my stuff. Yeah, and they were really opposed to Sandy. They tried to throw him off, but as you listen to the story go on, where they actually learned a lot from him. And this album art is credited to a Gene Grief. Now, I looked up Gene Grief. Grief. Now,
That's
I don't
punk
know.
Name right there.
There's a lot of
legend.
There's a lot of legend involved with the Clash, right? Because you got a lot of things going on, a lot of hearsay, a lot of stuff going on that you don't really know. Because this is 1978, right? And you don't know if what a person said is right or if they're just making it up. Because there's a lot of making it up.
That's right.
So they would change names. They changed the name of their drummer who left the Clash on the first album to kind of have a dig at him.
Hey, Daryl,
So-
your name's not Daryl anymore. it's Johnny.
it's Tory.
Johnny
They called him
better.
a Tory. Yeah,
The
that's
razor.
right. So Gene Grief is credited as the designer of the cover, but the cover is actually a combination of a painting by Hugh Brown.
Huh.
Now by a painting by Hugh Brown, and then a 1950s postcard called
What?
"End of the Trail." Yeah,
So we got a composite, a very a time.
That's a brutal postcard. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
like,
look at the postcard
Grandma
on the next-
Jane sending you
coming
a
for you,
picture
Grandma.
of a dead
Yeah.
cowboy being devoured by
this is as good as it gets.
So
buzzards?
some tapes history back in the day, when hate mail wasn't a thing, they had to have ways of sending basically your intentions of wanting to hurt someone. So they created hate cards. So you would just email or you'd mail a hate card to someone with a picture of someone getting shot in the back. That's what
Let's
that
bring
was.
that back.
Yeah, bring it back.
Hope you're
Getting eaten by
enjoying
buzzards.
the sun. This
kill you
this
later.
is a postcard called "End of the Trail" featuring the lifeless body of a Wallace Irving Robertson, and it was actually photographed by Euronymous of Mayhem, because that was kind of his specialty. Actually, the real
6, folks.
the real photographer was Adrian Atwater, and you could apparently you can still buy these postcards today. But
You can buy
it's a combination.
postcards of dead people.
Is this
Yeah.
Is this postcard a real dead guy? Like, was this dude just walking down the desert and he found a cadaver? It's like, oh, I guess I'll just take a picture.
I
of this
don't
guy.
know the story
Or-
behind that. I didn't dig that deep, but I do know that it's apparently it could. It
looks pretty
Those
real.
are real vultures.
It's
I've
the
got to
original hate
believe.
mail. I'm telling you.
I've got to
Hate cards.
believe that was a little bit of a mayhem action. Where an opportunity was taken, like, oh no, there goes Wallace. God damn, that's a cool photo, though. So,
Wallace took a bullet, but you
Hey,
know, at least something
hey,
good can
Wallace,
come
hold
from
that
his death.
pose.
So we have this painting and we have this greeting card, this hate card.
Right.
How do they
Yeah.
have sex with each other and make this cover?
Okay, so the legend goes that Joe Strummer and Mick Jones had seen this painting, and I went to several different articles that told this story over and over again, but they gave me 3 different locations: at the Mumbai Gardens, or at San Francisco's Automat Studios, or at the exhibit put on by Hugh Brown, who was the painter of the painting. And the exhibit was called the Chinese Tourist Exhibition.
And very clever work there, Inks.
Yeah, they had seen this painting called "The End of the Trail for Capitalism," and I'm guessing that it wasn't very clear. I'm guessing the painting is the what you see on the back of the Clash album with all the horses and the Chinese with the red flags, probably symbolizing communism, and then the Chinese horse rider on the front of the album. And the original album had just plain block Western letters, but it was later changed in the reprint to have the Asian letters for the Clash. So they were influenced by that Chinese tourist exhibition. And I was trying to find more about Hugh Brown. You type in Hugh Brown art, and there's so many Hugh Browns. I got buried, and again, a lot of Clash stuff is legend. It's surrounded with this drunken mayhem, this drunken party mentality, and so a lot of stuff. I'll go on the tube, and I ended up in another place, and I sold this wrapper for this for this fortune cookie, and it gave me the idea. So the album had an alternate title, which was Unhappy Trails, that kind of alluded back to both the painting End of the Trail for Capitalism and End of Trail, which is the postcard. But again, the painting by Hugh Brown, and then Gene Grief was the designer. Now, I went in to look for the medium of this album, and I tried to re-find the article again today, but I had read somewhere that it was lithograph. And I was like, lithograph?
Nice.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, of course. What the fuck's lithograph? And so I had to look up lithography. Well, lithography is where you take...
I know all about lithography. I'm really good at lithography.
Hey, check out my new album, Lithography. Yeah, brother. Hey, we see that was his major. But to create a lithograph, what you do is you would put some sort of wax or oil on a piece of limestone, and then you'd use acid to etch away the limestone that wasn't protected by the wax or whatever, and then you'd scrape that off, and then you could use that to print. But this was probably done with modern offset printing, where you take a photographic negative of something and you place it over a photosensitive emulsion, and then you expose that to UV light, and then the exposed parts get wiped away or washed away. And I've actually done this with screen printing, same idea, but that part gets washed away, and then you're left with all the stamp, basically a giant stamp that you can then print on. And then they were probably using the bright CMYK colors to recreate this amalgamation of a painting, which looks like it may have been based on a photograph, which was, combined with this postcard of a dead guy getting eaten to come together to make this Clash album. And it's kind of a microcosm of what was going on with the musical side of the album, because you're trying to get all these things to fit together to have a more polished studio album. And today that album still splits Clash's fans in half. Some love it, some think it's total heresy. It's definitely more of a rock and roll album if you listen to it, but it's got some good joints on there. It's definitely made for a more American audience, and you never know what you're going to find when you dig into. Which is funny, because
this is not a very American cover here.
It's very anti-American.
Through this story you're telling here, I understand. So at first I was like, what the hell is up with the Chinese lettering? But I get it now. So we've got and correct me if I'm wrong, the gentleman on the horse at the front of the LP, he's a Chinese, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's Chinese. And again, the guy on the ground is a Westerner, right? And he's been shot and killed.
So if we were to take this from maybe a metaphorical standpoint,
it's sort of a metaphor.
The man would represent,
Right,
capitalist, and the Chinese man would represent the ideals of socialism.
Yeah, socialism,
and of course,
communism.
Punk rock, a big part of punk rock is kind of the anti-establishment thing. So this is a pretty effective cover, actually.
Right. It kind of comes together. So it's all amalgamation of what
That's
we
right.
believe
This is what we believe.
But again, there's not any clear explanation to this cover. So it's like every time they retell the story, it's in a different location. It's got a different reason. But we do know that Gene Grief is credited, and we do know that Hugh Brown was the inspiration. And it may be lithograph, it may be a painting, but we know that it is history. Thank you, Dave.
Wonderful.
Thank you, David.
Yeah. What a cool cover, Dave. David, thank you so much for putting that in. Super cool, super effective, and it brought in lithography, which is something I've actually seen before, and I'm glad you brought it up because I couldn't find a good way to explain it. So
I still don't think I found a really good way to explain it, but I have done some screen printing, and that when you do screen printing, you have several layers of things. You use the bright colors. You're laying down big, flat swashes of colors, and I could see
get them swashes.
Swash. I could see in 1978 them wanting to use that and to kind of create that punk flyer look, that eroded look. So pretty cool. New medium for you guys to check out.
I believe now we have one final entry before we do the drawing, before one of these three cover knights is chosen to win the armor of Cover Decoder. Brengineer, what do you have for us?
Well, we're going to jump right over from communism into fascism.
It's a natural
my question for you, real quick, do you guys remember, as a child, the first time you saw the swastika?
Ooh, it must have been Indiana Jones.
It's got to be Indiana Jones. It's got to be. For me, that I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back in time to when little Brengineer was about 5 years old.
Pistachio Theatre presents Story Tales with the Brengineer.
So, probably one of the first films I remember watching was The Rocketeer.
Oh, yes! It's been so long.
The Disney film, the 1991
so good.
Disney film, The Rocketeer. And it happened to be the first comic book I ever saw.
Really?
Because my father had the Rocketeer comic book. For whatever reason, my father was not a comic book guy at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. But for some reason, he had this comic book.
He had the Rocketeer.
And I loved looking through it. And he had the Rocketeer. Now, the Rocketeer takes place when Nazi Germany is starting to take over and getting ready to invade. Right. So as a kid, I'm watching this film. I'm seeing this swastika. I'm seeing the German flags and stuff during some of the scenes in the film, particularly on the tail of this blimp at the end of the film.
Gotta have a blimp.
And I don't think anything of it.
You gotta have the airship.
I'm 5. I don't know what a Nazi is. I don't know what a swastika is.
They are the bad guys.
If I'm remembering this, if I'm getting this memory right, I was drawing because I loved drawing as a kid. I was drawing a Rocketeer picture at my parents' friend's house.
Oh boy!
And I had the Rocketeer flying across the sky with a big old swastika in the background. And
oh shit!
Yeah, exactly. And so that's when I learned you don't draw swastikas places.
No.
Nazis are bad. Hitler's an asshole.
The Rocketeer is awesome.
The Rocketeer is awesome. Kick Nazis in the dick wherever you find them.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I learned from the Rocketeer and from my parents. I even went so far as to instruct my friends by drawing it in the dirt and explaining to them that is a bad symbol. Never draw it like I just did.
Let me show you another one.
Yeah. Still not knowing really what it meant.
Right.
But, okay. So,
punching Nazis in the dick.
The
Go.
Rocketeer. Punching Nazis in the dick. Okay.
Like
so
the Rocketeer.
Walt Disney. Walt Disney released Rocketeer in June of 1991. It was meant to be a summer blockbuster. It starred Jennifer Connelly, Timothy Dalton, and the unknown Billy Campbell.
You mean
and
the
also
still
Alan Arkin
unknown
in there.
Billy Campbell?
Billy Campbell. No one knows who this guy is. He's an attractive hunk of a man, but
he is.
But he sort of disappeared after that. So in 1982, the superhero comic The Rocketeer came out, and it paid homage to the sort of those serial matinee shows and radio shows of the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
The world of the future.
Exactly. Kind of like Indiana Jones was. Indiana Jones was very much based off of those,
Serials.
action adventure serials of that time period. So as you can see, here is the poster. Who wants to describe this incredible poster?
Ooh,
You go for it. Inks.
Is
you're
that cool?
You're hot and bothered. Go for it.
Oh man, it is a work of art. It's not just a slap together. It is a total homage to those old. And I in fact had a stamp at one point that had little jetpack guys from the art of what they thought the future was going to be like, and it reminds me a lot of this. It is the Rocketeer in his red outfit with the incredible helmet design, blasting off to the stars. Almost looks like those old like Soviet posters about going to the moon and stuff like that. But it's got this this Art Nouveau kind of look, and he's blasting off from a like sphere, and it's very stylized. You've got the lines crisscrossing and changing colors, but you've got the top half of the Rocketeer very clear, and then the back it almost could be like crossing airships or searchlights, and then the lettering is sharp. It's got little lightning bolts in the R and the E's. And it altogether, it's just a fantastic work of art.
You just want to look at it. You just want to stare at it, and you want to be the Rocketeer in this picture.
And it's not like photo realistic either. In some parts it is, but it's got this stylizedness to it that just it brings you into this fantastic world.
Totally,
absolutely. Now, Jason brought this one to our attention, and
good pick, Jason.
I love The Rocketeer. It's like I said, I have warm and fuzzies for this movie. I love everything about it. It's just a great adventure. So here's just diving into this poster a little bit about this film. So the poster itself, the film didn't do well.
I don't know why.
Right? It just didn't really capture the audiences, and of course they blamed it on the poster. So they came up with some new posters.
Artist.
So here we go. We have a perfectly boring.
Look at this great poster. This is the poster I remember. Look at this poster.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Look at the Rocket Man flying over the Rocket Man with Timothy Dalton and sort of awkward.
Well, you do
Jennifer
get to see more Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah. So this is one of those very obvious, let's just do a collage of the actors, different things happening in the movie.
Two thumbs up.
And it didn't help the film very much. The film was a box office failure, unfortunately.
All the best movies are.
Still a great movie.
Why is that?
That's right. So the poster itself employs the Art Deco style. So something interesting that you just said, Inks, is that he looks like he's taking on a pose from those Soviet posters
look at that.
from the 50s and 60s. So get this. The design of the Rocketeer was meant to resemble a statue of Yuri Gagarin.
Oh shit, that's incredible.
Who was a
spaceman,
cosmonaut,
yeah, he's a cosmonaut,
the first man in space. So you can find the statue located in Gagarin Square in Moscow, and you can see the other version of the poster that they had. So go ahead. What kind of a poster do we have here?
Oh yeah,
you
man!
got this, Tapes.
This is great. We got a little bit of Kremlin in our poster here. He's apparently Soviets is the theme of our episode here. But we got the Clash backing it up too. So we have him doing this sort of I don't know what pose you would like, this kind of blast off pose from the ground.
Yeah.
But he's coming up at an angle with his face turned up, looking up at the Rocketeer logo at the top. His arms are at 45-degree angles from his body, and below him it kind of looks like the city, and he's shooting up. If you're probably more familiar with modern film, he kind of looks like the Iron Man blasting off from the
definitely.
Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah. So
so you can see
also very effective.
Yeah. This was another version. I think the artist did 3 or 4 versions of the poster for this film, and they ended up pulling them and going with the collages instead.
Oh man,
that's okay.
Bummer.
Make that money.
Always
Make
win
that
the
art.
day. That's right.
Yeah. So the artist of this poster is John Mattos. As you can see, that's him up in the top.
I thought you put an ad in here.
Yeah, no,
at John.
that's him. He's sitting back, looking like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Back on all of his
you pulled the dad body this time.
Oh yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot. He's got his own page, johnmattos.com, so you can go on and check out his portfolio. But he is a highly awarded graphic designer. He definitely employs the Art Deco and sort of that propaganda style.
Yeah.
One of the other sort of famous things he did, do you know the Indiana Jones logo? Well, he did the gradation in that.
Ooh.
So there's his other thing he did for film, and you can also see one of his other interesting pieces. So his art style is very clean, very crisp. It has that.
This is very Inksian.
That propaganda.
This is very Inksian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
It's
the
very graphic
sprays, and I
design
like
heavy.
you're getting the idea of the film, but you're not getting it revealed. You're getting the flavor. You're getting the you're getting a little teaser, but you're not getting the whole film revealed to you.
What a great pick. Yeah, Jason, thank you. Brendan, well
Yes.
done. I mean, once again, the power of covers, folks.
Watch The Rocketeer.
Yes.
Watch The Rocketeer.
It's so good.
There's a great scene. There's this great scene where there's this gangster. He's out trying to get the rocket because the Rocketeer's got this has got this rocket, and this actor is trying to get it.
Well, he's being paid by the actor.
That's right. The actor is a secret Nazi agent.
Oh.
And the gangster finds out that he's been working for a Nazi the whole time. And he goes, I may not make an honest buck, but I'm pure American. And he turns the machine gun and starts mowing down the Nazis.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah.
And it is, and Tapes was right. You start in the country with this little farm boy, and you end in the big city with the searchlights and the airship. It's a cool film, and the Rocketeer does some flying, but it's not. It's more complex than that. It's got a lot of gangster elements. It's a well done movie, and it holds up to this day. The special effects are still pretty good. A little bit of green screening.
I watched it last night.
Yeah. You did.
Perfect.
I watched it last night. I had to. I was like, you know what?
Jason, you wet the whistle, man. You did it.
I know. You wet the whistle, dude. I needed to go all in. I needed the full Rocketeer flavor.
Perfect. Well, speaking of going all in, folks.
Big claw energy.
That big claw energy. We have done the last of the random fandom covers. Thank you, everyone, for entering. But now it is the second part of this double random. The second random, we are going to choose a winner to get a shirt. So prepare yourself.
Ooh.
And as you know, we're a couple of nerdy boys. We like to roll some dice.
Ooh, cool.
That's right. So
whatever.
What do we got?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do here. We've got 3 entries. So, Mary, you're going to be 1 through 2. David, you're going to be 3 to 4. And Jason, you are 5 to 6.
Live
So,
roll.
Boy.
I'm going to go ahead and roll here, and let's see who we got.
Oh, boy.
All right. The lucky number is 3. Which means, David, you are the winner
the
of
Clash.
the shirt. The Clash takes the win.
Davey.
wins the shirt.
Oh, right.
Well
yeah, you know, we
done,
figured
everybody.
one day that people would like this cover so much they're going to start, just getting awesome shirts and merch for it.
Freely merch for it.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
remember.
Well, David, we're going to be in contact to get you
Yeah.
your Cover Decoder shirt so you can walk around and show it to all your friends who will totally love it and know what it is because everyone has heard this show by now. Everybody. But yeah, thank you again,
Worldwide.
folks, so much for joining us, for sending us your covers, and just for being a part of the show. It's just been, like we said before, such a cool journey.
You don't have to wait for the end of the year to send us your covers. You can send us your covers now. You can send us your covers, and you may send us on a
Right
tangent that will lead to a whole show. We want you to send us your covers and give that enjoyment that we feel to us and then to other people. We will be your vector to spread cover love.
Yeah, we'll do the hard work. If you find something cool and you're like, I just don't really want to do the research, we will do it.
Yeah.
We'll look into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what's up with the Cher? What's up with the Cher cover of her wearing all this like crazy armor?
Yeah.
And wielding a sword?
yeah.
Like, what's the story
What's
behind that?
what's the story
I don't know how to
behind
look
that?
this up. Let's send it to the Cover Decoders.
Cover decoders.
They'll
That's
look
what
it
they
up for
do.
me.
They love it.
You're right.
And we
what we
will
do.
because we're gonna do that Cher cover because it's amazing.
Yeah, and you can send those covers to our email. Coverdecoder
Absolutely, yes.
at
so
Gmail.
Send it to us at coverdecoder at gmail.com. Please follow us and give us a like over on Instagram at coverdecoder. And yeah, please review us, send us a message. I don't know that it helps necessarily spread us, but we don't care because we would just like to hear.
Oh yeah, definitely give us a good review. Give us some love. Help spread us.
And tell us if there's something that you'd like to hear change. Send us an email.
Yeah.
Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't. As we've talked about, we're constantly evolving and changing, and we're going to come back in season 2 with a whole lot more. So once again, thank you. We are forever grateful, and remember, covers can be yours.